Hello, my name is Patricia, and I am 38 years old. Many women have experienced mistreatment from their in-laws, and sadly, I am one of them. However, my story is a little different from most. Some people might struggle to understand the challenges I faced, especially when it comes to standing up for myself and seeking justice. But I want to share my journey in the hope that it inspires others who are going through similar situations. For a long time, my mother-in-law, Susan, and my sister-in-law, Lisa, made my life miserable. They never accepted me into the family and constantly tried to put me down. They would ruin my dresses before special events, mess with my food, and embarrass me in public. They even spread lies about my business, trying to convince people that I wasn't capable of running it. In their minds, I had stolen their precious boy away from them, and they couldn't stand it. I tried to talk to my husband, Andrew, about it many times, but he never believed me. He thought I was overreacting, or maybe just misunderstanding their intentions. No matter how much I pleaded, he always defended them. I felt so alone, trapped in a family that saw me as an outsider. Everything changed one day when Andrew came to me looking serious. "I need to tell you something important," he said. His expression made my stomach twist with worry. I asked him if everything was okay, but he shook his head. "No, it's not," he said quietly. "I saw something I can't ignore." Andrew then confessed that he had seen his mother and sister doing something terrible. For the first time, he admitted that he had been wrong to doubt me all this time. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "What made you finally see the truth?" I asked, still in shock. Instead of answering, he showed me security footage from our business. Andrew and I ran a small crochet business together. We sold handmade baby clothes, bags, and other items, and it had been growing steadily. However, Susan and Lisa never supported me. They always made fun of my work, saying I wasn't smart enough to be a businesswoman. They told Andrew I should just stay home and stop chasing unrealistic dreams. Now, as I watched the footage on Andrew's phone, I saw two masked figures sneaking into our shop. They had spray paint cans in their hands, and they started vandalizing the place, spraying hateful messages all over the walls, knocking down shelves, and destroying our products. My heart sank as I realized the damage they had done. Andrew paused the video and pointed to something I hadn't noticed before. One of the vandals was wearing a very unique necklace, the same one he had bought for his mother during a trip to Hawaii. That's when it hit me. "It's them," I whispered, my voice shaking. "It has to be." I looked at Andrew, hoping he would deny it, but he didn't. He knew it was true. A mix of emotions overwhelmed me. I was angry that Susan and Lisa had gone this far. I was hurt that Andrew hadn't believed me sooner, but above all, I felt relieved that I finally had proof. I wasn't crazy, I wasn't imagining things. They had truly been trying to ruin my life. Just then, Andrew's phone rang. It was Lisa. She casually mentioned that their Uncle Jacob was coming home and that the whole family was planning a reunion that weekend. As soon as the call ended, I turned to Andrew. "Are you going to confront them?" I asked. He hesitated. "I don't know. It's complicated. They're my family, Patricia." I understood his struggle, but I also knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. "If you decide to speak up, I'll stand by you," Andrew finally said, "no matter what." The weekend arrived, and we went to Susan's house early to help with the preparations for the big family feast. Uncle Jacob was a respected elder in the family, and everyone was excited about his return. The atmosphere was warm and cheerful, but as soon as Susan and Lisa saw me, their expressions darkened. "Oh, you two came early," Susan said with a fake smile. "Yes, we thought we'd help out," Andrew replied. "How sweet of you," she said, though her eyes were filled with unspoken accusations as she glanced at me. Then, out of nowhere, Susan brought up the vandalism of our shop. "Oh, it's such a shame what happened to your business," she said, pretending to be sympathetic. Lisa nodded, barely able to hide her smirk. They were enjoying this. I clenched my fists but kept my voice calm. "Yes, it's terrible. We're planning to involve the police." Their reactions were immediate. Lisa's face paled, and Susan's smile faltered. "Oh, the police?" Lisa said quickly. "That's not necessary. It was probably just some kids messing around." I raised an eyebrow. "Maybe, but even if it was just kids, they should be held accountable." The tension in the room was thick. Andrew and I exchanged a knowing glance. They were scared. They knew they were caught. The rest of the day went by in a blur of food, laughter, and forced conversations, but I wasn't done yet. Before leaving for the party, Andrew had given me a small microphone to clip onto my dress. He wanted me to get proof that would finally expose Susan and Lisa for who they really were. I moved quietly through the house, and soon, I found them whispering in the kitchen. "She knows everything, Mom," Lisa hissed, her voice trembling. "Calm down, Lisa, she has no proof," Susan snapped, though she didn't sound very sure. "She was looking at us weirdly. What if she suspects us? Even if she does, she can't do anything about it." I smiled to myself. They had just admitted their guilt, and I had recorded every word. The moment of truth had finally arrived. Lisa's hands trembled as she clutched the edge of the table, her voice rising with panic. "I can feel it," she insisted. "She knows something." Susan shook her head, trying to reassure her, though her confidence felt thin, like a weak thread about to snap. "Even if she suspects anything, what can she do about it?" she said with forced calm. "Besides, Andrew is on our side, and she loves Andrew. If she tries to tell him, he'll never believe her over us." Their words sent a chill down my spine. They had no idea their conversation was being recorded. The small microphone hidden near them captured everything, their deception, their cruel plotting, and the depth of their manipulations. As I listened, the realization struck me like a punch to the gut. This was not the first time they had done this to me. Their voices lowered, reminiscing about past misdeeds. Susan chuckled as she recalled how they had once stained my dress before an important presentation, ensuring I would be humiliated. Lisa added how they had ruined my food and drinks, laughing at my unsuspecting misery. It was all a game to them, a twisted little game where they always won, hiding behind Andrew's love and trust. I clenched my fists, my anger bubbling up like a boiling pot. I had planned to keep listening, to collect more evidence, but I couldn't stand it any longer. I had to confront them. What if the microphone wasn't picking up everything clearly? I needed to be sure, and more than that, I wanted to see their faces when they realized they had been caught. Taking a deep breath, I stepped forward, forcing a neutral expression onto my face. "Hey," I called out casually, making them jump. "Is there anything else we need to do before Uncle Jacob arrives?" Susan clutched her chest dramatically, her eyes wide. "Goodness, you nearly gave me a heart attack." I forced a smirk. "Not too weak, it seems," I remarked, hinting at the energy she had for her recent underhanded activities. Her brows furrowed. "What do you mean?" "Oh, nothing," I shrugged, "just that I've seen some rather interesting things lately. Someone dressed in black, sneaking around, causing trouble. Ring any bells?" Their brief silence spoke volumes. Lisa recovered first, scoffing, "You're imagining things." I tilted my head. "Am I?" Because from what I saw, there was more than one person involved. A team effort, perhaps? Susan's lips parted as if to protest, but before she could speak, I pulled out my phone and played the video Andrew had shown me. Their faces drained of color as the screen flickered with evidence, clear, undeniable proof of their sabotage against me and my business. "I don't think Andrew would be so quick to dismiss this," I said calmly, though my heart was pounding. "The question is, what do you have to say for yourselves?" For a moment, they were too stunned to respond. Then, Susan hissed, "You don't have proof of anything." Lisa, however, cracked under the pressure. "Susan, stop," she whispered, her voice shaking. "She knows, she has proof. We can't." "Shut up," Susan snapped, but it was too late. Lisa's guilt had already betrayed them. Then, just as quickly as their panic had surfaced, their expressions shifted. A smirk curled at the corner of Susan's lips. "Andrew will never believe you," she sneered. "Family is everything to him. You're just an outsider." I met her gaze, unwavering. "Maybe he won't, but I do wonder, what makes you think I'll just let this go? You didn't just come after me, you came after my business, my work, my livelihood. Do you really believe I'll stand by and do nothing?" Realizing they had underestimated me, they lunged for my phone, but I was quicker. I stepped back, gripping the device tightly. "Even if you get this, the evidence is already backed up," I warned. "Threats won't help you now." Lisa's eyes darkened. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" "No," I said evenly. "I think I'm done letting you walk all over me." At that moment, the door burst open, and Andrew stood there, confusion written all over his face. "What's going on?" he asked, looking between us. I seized the moment. Andrew, your mom and sister have been sabotaging me, my work, my life. I have proof. Susan gasped, clutching her chest again, her eyes filling with fake tears. She's lying, Andrew. She's trying to turn you against us. Lisa nodded quickly, her expression a mix of desperation and defiance. Andrew looked at me, then at them. That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? Without hesitation, I held up my phone. See for yourself. You showed me some of this footage before. You know what they've done. He hesitated. The weight of family loyalty was heavy, pressing down on him. Susan stepped closer to him, lowering her voice. Sweetheart, she's trying to break us apart. Andrew swallowed hard. Mom, tell me the truth. Did you do it? Silence. Then, Lisa whispered, we didn't mean for it to go so far. Susan turned on her, furious. You fool. Andrew's face hardened. So it's true. A wave of relief mixed with sadness washed over me. But Susan wasn't done yet. Andrew, you don't understand, she pleaded. You have to choose, family or. Don't. I cut in. Don't put that on him. He deserves to make his own choice without manipulation. Andrew's shoulders slumped. I can't do this right now. His silence was an answer in itself. My heart ached, but I refused to let it show. Without another word, I turned and walked out, joining the large gathering at the dining table. The air buzzed with chatter, laughter, clinking glasses. 30 guests sat around the grand table, oblivious to the storm that had just unfolded. I stood abruptly, my voice steady but firm. I have something crucial to share. The room quieted. I looked around, my eyes locking onto Susan and Lisa's. There are two among us who have deliberately sought to make my life miserable.